Hello, this is Carla Rebecca, and I have a new card here for you guys today. I'm trying out a new stamp. It's the Unforgettable stamp and die set. And it has these cute little elephants on it. And so what I'm going to start to do is I'm just going to create a bunch of stamps using the little elephant in the top right corner of the stamp set, as well as the balloon. And then my design that I'm going to be doing is that the balloon is going to be getting, the elephant is going to be getting carried away by the balloons. So I'm just stamping it out a few times, and then from there I'm just going to decide which one is the perfect one to use. Now to color in these balloons, I'm using the General's Kimberly watercolor pencils, and what I do is I color in a little bit all around the sides of the object, and then I do a thicker part, only color in half of the balloon, and then what I'm doing with a little bit of water on a brush is I'm pulling the color over, because what I want to do is have the darker left side and the lighter right side, like if the sun were shining from one side and there's a shadow effect on the other side. So now I'm just going to go in, I'm going to fix up a little bit of the purple one. One of the great things about using pencil crayon as the watercolor ink that we use is that you can actually erase it if you go a little bit outside of the line. And I definitely wanted to erase it in this sense because then I'm going to be die cutting it out, and the die cut always leaves a little bit of a white border, so you'd be able to see the little bit of purple that got out on that one. Now I'm coloring the elephant in with a blue watercolor, and I'm just coloring the edges where I want it to be a little bit darker. I want him to be a very light blue to be a little bit more realistic. And then with the watercolor brush, I'm just bringing the color into the rest of the image. This is great to have a very subtle effect when you're coloring, and you don't have to use a lot of color. So as I bring that color in, I'm starting to make the original shaded areas that I had created a lot lighter. So I am going to go in with the watercolor afterwards just to fix it up a little bit and add a little more color. And the great thing about your paper already being wet from using the water brush is that when you start using the pencil crayon again, it actually starts to blend and you don't have to do as much blending afterwards. And then another little technique is that if you do want to have these strong lines but you want them to look more like watercolor, just going with a water brush and dabbing on top of all the lines just blends it out a little bit but still keeps that dark color. So I'm using the coordinating die set to cut out the balloons and the elephant for the card. The balloon die cut doesn't fit as well as I would have liked it to. You have to play around with it a little bit before you get it right in the good spot. It's mostly because of the string. Now I do keep my die cuts down with a little bit of removable tape. I just find that that helps me keep the die in place and make sure I'm not cutting in the wrong area. And then once you take them out, you got these cute little elephant and balloon die cuts everywhere. So I've laid out the elephant and the balloons in the general format that I want to put them in. I also decided I wanted to die cut a little hat for the elephant because it is a birthday card, and so I wanted to make it a little bit more festive. And I'm using the words "not to get carried away, but you're kind of amazing, just saying." I'm putting that in the top left corner, and then I'm putting the happy birthday just on the bottom right corner as a little something extra. I really love this saying because it goes perfect with the elephant being carried away into the sky. So to glue down all the different elements, I'm just using Elmer's craft glue, and I have a little glue stick that works great for it. It's very liquidy, but at the same time it's still a little bit solid. It's a weird mix, but it works great for small objects that I'm gluing down, and it actually adheres them really well, so they're not going to be falling off or So once I've adhered down all the balloons onto my sheet of paper, I wanted to do something with the background. I wanted to add an image because he is flying up into the sky, so I wanted it to show that he was in the sky. So there are these two little stars, one that's solid and one that's just an outline, and I've positioned both of them on my acrylic block, and then I'm just stamping them with yellow ink and stamping the entire background, creating a background of just yellow stars. And it just adds a little something more to it. It's simple, it's quick, it can be done quick and easily, and it adds that little bit that was missing. Now I also wanted the card to have a little bit of dimension. I didn't want it to just be sitting down on the cardstock. And so what I did is I just put some foam adhesive tape on the back, and that's just going to lift it off a little bit. Now I definitely ran out of foam when I was doing this, so it probably would have been a good idea to just use a sheet of foam, but I wanted to use this and I guess run out. And now I'm just sticking it onto a blue cardstock. I chose blue simply because it goes with the theme of him being up in the sky and being blown away and all that. So there's my card. It's all finished. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.